And we're live. Hey, we're going to make a real quick phone call. See if we can get David Yates on the phone. See what's happening with this comedian. Cool. If I get sent a voicemail.
Yellow.
Yo, I'm looking for the CEO of Aha Hot Sauce. Haha Hot Sauce. Did I find the guy?
Nope. Sorry, I don't know who you're talking about.
You don't know who I'm talking about. All right. Well, shit. Then I'm looking for a funny man. Is there a funny man on the line?
No, not at all, man.
Not at all. I'm looking for someone traveling from California, and they're in New Mexico right now. Do I got that?
Yeah. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, so we're live on the air right now. I got David Yates, I think, online. Dave Yates, the comedian. Now you're based out of LA right now?
Yep.
So tell me about how'd you get into this game?
I mean, it's a long story, but long story short, man, I started in Central Illinois, and there was nothing better to do, and I was drinking myself to death, and I needed something to replace the drinking, so I started doing stand-up comedy, and then it stuck, and I ended up getting sober, and I've been doing stand-up for 9 years. That's the long story short of it.
Well, listen, bro, we got to fill an hour, so you ain't got to give me the short version, the short version. No, that's cool. So you were okay. Well, tell me about that. Why were you drinking yourself to death? What was going on?
I was an alcoholic. Just one of those things, man, where it had its grips on me, and I drank myself down from Chicago to middle of nowhere, Illinois, and I needed to stop it, or it was going to kill me. So I started doing stand up, as a means to not drink anymore. And then I ended up getting completely sober, and doing a 12-step group and stuff like that. And I'm still sober today.
How does being sober in, like, probably on a majority of the time a room full of drunk people, how does that go over?
I mean, it doesn't bother me, man. Like, I've been doing this a long time. It's kind of like this. It's like, if I was allergic to peanuts, I wouldn't be like, yo, man, you better not eat peanuts around me. It's just because I have a problem doesn't mean I care what anybody else does.
No, absolutely. So do you like, is a drunk crowd better than a sober crowd, or is a sober crowd is your comedy style more suited for the sober crowd?
I mean, man, I write jokes for everybody. So if they only worked in one setting, that's a me problem. So I mean, it all depends, man, because there's some drunk crowds that are absolutely terrible because you can't. Everybody's yelling and talking and shit. And then there's some square crowds that, aren't having a good time that are absolutely terrible because they're not able to let themselves go enough to laugh. So, I mean, the good mix is, everybody that comes out to have a good time that knows they're at a comedy show and having a room with good staff enough to, like, police the room so that the comedian doesn't have to.
Oh, I got a question for you. What do comedians, or you, I guess you can't speak for all comedians, but, like in the world today, like you used to go into a sporting event, you could never bring a camera in or recording devices. And I've always made a living behind a camera. So I've always learned how to sneak cameras into, like, concerts or sporting events. But nowadays, people have their cell phones, and they don't take cell phones and stuff. But a lot of comedy shows now are like locking up cell phones and keeping cell phones locked. Let the people know why this is, and what do comedians think about when, like, somebody pulls a cell phone out and starts recording their act?
All right, so I'll start with that. I mean, for me, like, when someone pulls out a phone and starts recording, it's just, I know why they're doing it. They just want to have something to show people that they were at a show. They want to share it on their Instagram stories or what have you. The problem is like I don't have control over that content. I might be working on a new joke that's not finished yet, and I don't want that to be out in the world yet. You know, so for a larger degree, so for someone like that's famous, you know, that's those lock bags, it's because, you know, they make their living, as do I, on the jokes being ready to make a special or an album or something like that. You know, 9 times out of 10, the average citizen just wants to show a clip to their friends or have it in their phone for a keepsake. But the problem with that is it's bothersome because A, you're holding your phone in the air when you should be listening to the material itself, and B, it's like I don't want my stuff out on the internet that's not ready yet. You know, and I'm a big advocate of the locking up of the cell phones, just so everybody has a good time and pays attention to the show. I mean, that to me is more of a reason than anything. It's because I've been to shows where the cell phones have been locked in the bags, and the quiet parts are quiet, the loud parts are loud. You know, like the connection is deeper between the audience and the performer. So, I mean, that in a nutshell is what I think about the cell phone bag.
I love it, man. No, I think it's great that people understand that and stuff. Like, it's like they're when you say you may not be finished with a joke, it's like taking a picture of someone's painting before it's done, you know, and sharing that out there before they're done with their art. So that's awesome. Yeah. Hey, what's one of the hardest things with, like, because you're on the road? I mean, even trying to get you on the phone is tough because you're here and you're there. What's it like being a comedian in 2020 on the road?
I mean, sometimes it's wonderful, man, and sometimes it's hard. So, I mean, it's like anybody else's job, you know. The driving sucks sometimes. Sleeping in your car sucks, but the shows are good, and sometimes you get to sleep in a nice hotel. I mean, it's it's not much different from any other job in the way of you got good nights and bad nights, and you know you get good accommodations and bad accommodations. It's a pretty nomadic endeavor. It's nice sometimes when I get to see friends out on the road or people that I know come to a show, but you're pretty much your own rolling business. So, I mean, I love what I do, but it's not the easiest thing sometimes.
You're kind of in the gray market hot sauce business too, aren't you?
What do you mean by gray market?
Well, like you if I said to you, hey, you got some hot sauce in your trunk, can you sell me some hot sauce? Is there a possibility you got some hot sauce to sell me?
Always.
See, that's kind of like gray market. I don't want to say black market, you know, but it ain't. So tell me about the hot sauce. Cause let me tell you, when you were up here in Woodland Park, I bought 2 bottles of that hot sauce, and it was probably still to this day, one of my favorite, like, little bottle hot sauces that I've ever had. So tell me about how you got into the hot sauce business.
Yeah, man. So about 5 years ago, when I was living in Illinois, I decided to grow a ghost pepper plant from a farmer's market, and I grew it, and I didn't know what to do with it. So the ghost pepper is just a little too hot to just eat. So I taught myself how to make hot sauce. So I went online and watched some videos and came up with my own recipe by looking at things that people were doing and adding things that I liked, removing things that I didn't like, and then I came up with a recipe, made enough of it, and put it in some bottles, and friends really enjoyed it. They're like, you should make this shit. You should sell this shit. So I perfected the recipe. You know, it only took me like a month or two to kind of get the boiling time down and everything. And I was just getting on the road at the time, so maybe I'm like 4 years into comedy. And I'd already sold T-shirts and stuff, and that always does okay. But I'm like, I'm going to see if I can sell hot sauce. So I was getting on stage with just basically glass bottle full of hot sauce, no label. And I was just like, this is called hot sauce, and I sell this, and people bought it. So then I ended up just whatever money I made from it, I invested in growing the business. So I own the name hahahotsauce.com. I own the trademark for hot sauce from the government. So like it is a legit business.
No, yeah. When I was saying the gray market, I was kind of joking. It's a bad joke. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it's fun because that's how it starts always. Like, I mean, I do sell it out of the trunk of my car. It's very snake oil salesman. But, you know, it's the difference between making a living doing this and not. Most people, you know, don't know that. I mean, stand-up comedy is not it's not the best paying business in the world. You got to make your own money, you know. So I can go take $100 gig and turn it into a $200 gig because I'll sell a bunch of hot sauce, you know.
Yeah.
And that's merchandise in general. The beauty of my merchandise is that you'll buy it, you'll use it. It is a very good recipe. Like, I'm not a chef or anything. Like, I was a big fan of hot sauce, and I knew what I wanted out of a hot sauce, and that's what I made. But you'll use it, and then my contact info is on the side of the bottle, so you'll buy more. Whereas a T-shirt, if you buy a T-shirt from a comedian that says something about titties on it, you're not going to call him like 6 months later and be like, "Yo, dude, like I need another one of them titty shirts." You know, like you're going to buy it. You're going to buy it once and then you're done. And the reason the hot sauce is made the way it's made, it's got a real good kick to it, but it's not ruin your day hot because there's no repeat business. You know, so the hot sauce itself is a means to an end. It helps me make a living on the road doing comedy. And also, you know, when I'm in Los Angeles or on the road, and I always have my merchandise on me, if you buy it online at hahahotsauce.com, I will ship it. So, because I'm usually near a post office, so I'll get the online order through my PayPal, and I'll stop at the post office and drop the bottles wherever I'm at. So, like, it's an online business I can keep up because I always have my merchandise on me doing stand up anyways.
Do you still grow your own peppers, or do you?
I used to. I don't anymore. I use pepper mash, which is ground up Carolina Reaper.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a pepper paste. It's all fresh and organic, but it comes in jars. And I mean, I would love to grow my own peppers because it would drop my my cost down and increase my profits. But I'm gone so much I can't tend to a garden.
No,
you know.
And your passion is definitely comedy, but the hot sauce allows you to continue and just as an extra marketing thing, but it was still a passion that you kind of birthed out of your own.
Yeah, so I mean, it serves a lot of purposes. Like, if someone put a gun to my head right now and said you could either make hot sauce or do stand-up comedy, I'd be doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
but also, you know, they build each other up because it's a memorable thing. People remember who I am because of it, because I'm the only one that makes and sells his own brand of hot sauce.
I love it. I love the idea of it. I love how you've taken a passion and even out of a dark place in your life, you started something that has changed it. So what do you think what do comedies nowadays think of the heckler? When you're at the show, I know everybody wants to be a part of the show, and I'm not even sure how the heckler was born, but you know, you don't go somewhere and try to scream at the band, or you don't scream at the keynote speaker during a conference. But why do people heckle, and what do you think of the heckler?
In my opinion, people heckle for a few different distinct reasons. First and foremost, 9 times out of 10, it's because they want to be doing what we're doing and they can't. So this is their opportunity to try to live a little bit vicariously by yelling stuff and hoping that they get to be part of the show, which is the second reason that people heckle, is they think that they're helping. And I mean, the third reason, it could be that they're drunk, or there's something going on in their own lives that's hurting them and they just feel the need to act out. I don't know that third reason, but there's always room for that. But people heckle because they think they can do what we're doing, or they think that they're going to help the show. And the reason it's increased over the years is because, we have the internet and people love watching those comedian-owned heckler videos. I mean, sure, the videos are good, but then people see that and they think, oh, that's comedy. And I'm going to tell you, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say 9.5 times out of 10, none of us like it. None of us want to stop what we're doing to deal with you, because it's usually not good or helpful. It's dumb. It's usually something disruptive, like when we were doing the shows in Woodland Park. and some dude yelled, "Talk about the president." Like, I don't do politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my thing. So to yell, and I don't have an opinion on that shit anyways. Like, I write jokes that I like to tell, like yelling that, it doesn't help. It doesn't help me at all, and especially like, and I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. It's just like, depending on where the crowd leans, left or right or center or whatever, that has the potential to alienate the audience. And my job is to write jokes for everybody. That is just what I do. Now, there's other comedians that do political humor, and that's wonderful. I just don't. It's not my brand. It's not my brand of comedy. There's plenty of people who do that way better than me, and you can search them out and go enjoy them. But for me, like, I write jokes about my life. I write jokes about the things I think are funny, and that's it. So when you get a heckler situation, it takes the energy away from the show, because then you got to stop, then you got to address what they're saying, and then you got to. I usually don't address people. Like, if people are chatty, too, and sometimes it's not even a direct heckle, like they're trying to help the show. Sometimes hecklers are just people being loud in the back talking.
Yep.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what I said in the beginning. Like, if you got a good, venue or comedy club staff to go tell them, hey, kind of keep it down or shut the fuck up, that's important, because I don't want to waste what little time I have with people who actually paid to pay attention with someone who's being obnoxious.
Yeah. Are you kind of a solo guy, or do you have partners that you kind of travel with and do shows with when you book and stuff?
I mean, all of us are pretty much solo in some interest or another, but like, it depends on what the booking agency or where people send us,
Okay.
or what gigs I can book. So I book myself to headline a lot of different places, and then I also feature and open for people. So I've been doing stand-up 9 years, and I'm on tour with a buddy most of the year, and then I do my own stuff when he's off to make extra money.
Gotcha. What's one of your favorite venues around the country? I got listeners from all over, but I just, I wonder just personally, what's kind of like your favorite venue, favorite city, stuff like that.
Sure. I personally, obviously, you're Colorado, so Denver Comedy Works, downtown Denver Comedy Works.
Oh yeah.
It's arguably one of the best clubs in the country, and for a lot of different reasons, not just because of the stand-up, because they do implement that lock your phone in a bag every show.
Yep.
And the shows are always so much better because you have a staff who cares. You have an ownership who cares enough to do that, because the cell phone bags aren't cheap, but they make the shows so much better. Like, can you remember a time where you've been to a concert that people haven't been holding their phones in the air recording it?
Like 24 hours a day. Like at a concert, I film a lot of weddings, and I'm like, nowadays the whole crowd is sitting there filming with their phone, the wedding or whatever. It's just ridiculous. People are addicted to their phones. They're addicted. And
so instead of experiencing the moment, people are using their phones. And look, man, I'm addicted to my phone just the same as the next guy. I need my phone to make a living. I need my phone to do social media and marketing, stuff like that. But at that comedy club, to spend an hour and a half without your phone, it's a gift. It's a gift.
Absolutely.
It's a true gift. So that to me is why Denver Comedy Works downtown is one of the best clubs in the country. Cleveland, Hilarities in Cleveland is another phenomenal club. Great staff, great management. Hilarities in Cleveland is it's in an old theater called Pickwick and Frolics, which is also a great steak restaurant. And when you perform there, they let you order whatever you want on the menu. The crowds are great. Cleveland's a great city. It's always a show where the comedy club lets you order what you want on the menu. So, like, I had a steak both nights, because nine times out of 10 for me, and I know I've said 9 times out of 10 probably 1,000 times right now, so I apologize for that. Usually when I'm at a comedy club, it's food. It's onion rings. It's like a weak salad. But at Hilarities in Cleveland, I had steaks both nights, and you feel like an actual human being that's appreciated. I like going to the places that appreciate the comedians, and it's not always the case. Sometimes you're just the thing that happens on this day. You know, like a casino show where it's like it's Wednesday night's comedy night, and then they usher in, you know, people with air tanks and chain smokers, and they're just there to take a break from losing all their life savings.
I love it.
I've done comedy in every single capacity in every type of venue. And then lastly, Chicago's a great city for comedy. Born and raised Chicagoland area. Chicago's phenomenal between Zanies, Laugh Factory, all those clubs are great. Chicago's a great comedy town. And then my home club in Central Illinois, the Jukebox in Peoria, Illinois. That's where I started. And the owner is like family to me, so I always like to go back down there. Anywhere that's got a good audience and good people, that is my favorite place to go.
I love it, man. I love it. That's what it is. Like comedy is a cool, unique area where you get to connect with the entire country, especially someone like you that's been doing it and traveling. You get to see how different every state is, every little culture, every little city. Even if you're not even traveling abroad, America is so different from California to New York to Florida and Texas and everywhere else in between. So I envy that about comedians, especially because you get to see it in that small, local, cool environment. Man, so oh, go ahead.
Like I was going to say, we were just in Omaha, and I had a blast. And then we were in Annville, Pennsylvania, an hour and a half south of Philly, like in just like rural small town Pennsylvania. And, you know, there was like 400 people in the theater, and they were all great people. And it's like, if I asked you to point out Annville, Pennsylvania on the map, you couldn't do it. You know?
Nope, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen today. What man, the culture of comedy right now in 2020, like the fact that it's a booming industry, isn't it?
Yes and no.
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting paid what you probably worth, but as far as the opportunity,
there's never been a lack of opportunities. Comedy is great right now in that, you know, you are in control of your own audience. So my responsibility is to give my art to the people that want it, and do that in such a way where I'm responsible for my following. So I do things like the podcast or a radio show just to try to tell people who I am, to promote, you know, what it is that I do, because it's not like it was in the 80s and the 90s where the comedy club packed 100 people in, 200 people in every weekend, and that's how you build following. You showed up, you did well, people liked you, they bought your CD, and they continued to follow you and became fans for life. Well, now, a lot of the times it's very hard to get into a comedy club unless you have television credits, which is why I live in Los Angeles. You know, I'm going to where the opportunity is. So, yes, comedy is great right now. There's a million opportunities. There's a bunch of funny people, but to be a working comic is harder than it ever was, I believe.
Oh, because of just everyone wants to do it. Everybody's out there trying to.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, it's hard to make a living doing it.
Yeah.
You know, the pay scale for an opening act, a feature comedian doing 25 to 30 minute sets, you're getting a standard at some places $100 a show, and that's not enough to make a living on. So if you're doing 4 or 5 shows for a weekend, you make $400, $500, and then you got to pay for gas, and you got to pay for food, and then you got to pay for, you know, just X, Y, and Z, and then you're coming home with like $200-$300, you know, and that's almost minimum wage. So that's why a lot of us have to sell merch. You know, headlining is a different story. Headliners make more money, but not significantly more, and that's what the hustle is. You know, selling shirts, selling CDs. So it's like if you're at a comedy show and you see a comedian selling a sticker or a CD or a koozie, you should buy it, because that's actually what keeps them out of living in their cars. You know, the fact that I sell hot sauce and my debut album after a show, some people are like, oh, no one has CD players. I'm like, a lot of people still have CD players. This is my album. Either buy it or don't. But I need to sell these things to make a living. It doubles the amount of money that I make when I sell merchandise. So it is a wonderful time for comedy. Comedy is more popular than ever. It's accessible. You can watch specials on your phone. You can find a comedian on Instagram by searching like hashtag stand-up comedy or YouTube. And I think that's wonderful. But it is super hard to make a living doing it because a lot of clubs, they need to sell tickets. They need to sell tickets. It's not like it was where you could build a following by just your merit. Like, they want to know whether you're a low risk, and social media does that for club owners. And I get it. They got to run a business. So if you look at someone, you know, like me, I've got like 3,000 followers on Instagram. At Yates Comedy, you can help if you want to follow at Yates Comedy. That will help change that number. But if you look at a guy like me that's got 3,000 followers, been doing comedy for like 9 years, you can look at also a guy that maybe is the exact same amount of time in comedy and maybe popped a little TV credit and has got 50,000 followers. That guy is going to get the gig all day over me. Because it's a risk. It's a risk reward. You know, so if you're a business owner, what's your ROI? What's your return on investment? You're going to go, well, this guy has 50,000 fans, so there's a better chance that this guy's going to draw well than old Dave Yates over here with 3,000 fans.
Absolutely.
You know,
no, I understand. I got you. Go follow at Yates Comedy. See, it's just a like. It's just a follow. It don't cost you nothing. So if you're listening right now, go slam on that button. You can leave and come back. This thing will still be there.
Yeah.
Man, no, I totally understand. So what, are you a family man or are you solo?
Solo, man. I don't have any kids. I'm 33. I'm a vagabond. You know,
33, that's like the age of perfection though. Are you still sporting the Jesus beard?
The Jesus beard. I keep my beard tight and sharp, sir. Thank you very much.
Tight and sharp. Oh well, or you could go work at a coffee shop in New York if comedy doesn't work out for you.
Yeah, it'll be full-time hot sauce if comedy doesn't work out.
Nah, full-time hot sauce ain't a bad gig, man. The fact that you've been able to, you know, do this for 9 years full-time and, you know, not have to go waitress or bartend or whatever, but, you know, I think it's amazing. I think it's something that you love. I think that the fact that it was born out of a dark time in your life too always will drive some passion, even if it's something like, you know, you don't want to be back in that dark time or whatever. It's just something. It's something to help you with that addiction or whatever, you know. So I love that.
Yeah.
What's a memorable story, man? What's a story? Something over the last 9 years. Give to somebody a funny joke, you know, a funny story, a fun story. What's the last 9 years been, man?
All right, yeah. Here's the story. So I've been doing comedy for 9 years. I've had to have a day job up until this past year.
Okay.
So if I can make it till next month, that'll be the first calendar year I've paid all my bills with stand-up comedy. Now the thing is I've always had a day job because I was being a broke comedian. So like I always worked jobs where I could do 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and I could take off at night to do shows. So everybody wants to talk about the cat that's living in their van that sells their first script. Yeah, that's a wonderful, sexy Hollywood story. But no one wants to talk about the many of us that are out there that do the 8 to 4, 9 to 5 office job, you know, and then after 5 they go out and they put in another 3 or 4 hours a night into the craft. You know, I always had a job where if I could muster it and get time off, I would, you know, leave work on Wednesday and then start to get to the gig to do a Thursday through Saturday at the comedy club, and then drive back Sunday, sometimes in the night, and get back home to sleep 2 hours and be back to the office at 9 on Monday morning. The real accomplishment is if I can make it to February. This is the first calendar year where I've paid all my bills with stand up and only stand up.
That's brilliant, though. That's fun. That's an accomplishment. It's a goal that's been met, man. I love it.
So, and no one wants to talk about that. Like everybody likes that story of the living in the van. And look, I sleep in my car just as much as the next guy. Like it's not a noble thing to be broke and doing your art. Like people have created this whole like poor artist mentality, and it's just like it's why I hustle. It's why I hustle, because I like having an apartment and a bed to sleep in. I mean, it's not crazy to want to make a living doing the thing you love to do. It's just it took 9 years to do it. Like I said, I quit my last day job. Hopefully that I'll ever have to have. I was working at a halfway house in Southern California, the sober living. And I was doing work for them, just being a support staff and taking people to their appointments and things like that, and driving people around and doing maintenance. But I had that job because it's A, expensive to live in Los Angeles, and B, I got off work at 4 o'clock, and then I could go hit stages till midnight. So I would work 8:30 to 4, and then I would get off work and go open mics and showcases and try to get in at the comedy clubs in Los Angeles till midnight. So I've been pulling doubles for 8 years.
Yeah, but I love the hustle, man. I love it, though, because there's so many people out there just stuck in their dead-end job going, I'm never going to do anything. Oh, did I just lose you? Damn, I lost him. How the hell did that happen? His phone died. Some bitch. Oh, I'm calling him back. He hung up on me. He said, screw this guy.
Oh, you've reached Dave Yates.
Oh, accept. You there, my man?
Yeah, sorry, I must have lost you.
No worries. I love the fact that I didn't know that about you. This is fun for me to learn, because it's amazing to me that so many people will do something day in and day out, and they don't have a vision for something else. And the fact that you stuck with it for 8 years, hustling for whatever reason, whatever it was keeping you from or driving you to, and then even to be a part of like a 2020 era of going, this is my first year of not having to work a day job and having to, you've probably had some ups and downs. You know what it is to eat beans and rice, but you also know where the best steakhouse at the comedy club is in Cleveland. And so I love the fact that there is some hustle behind it, because it's inspiration for everyone out there. And yeah, the guy in the van down by the river is a funny story, but the idea that you hustled, and the fact that you did this. Well, now that I got to ask you, man, about this halfway house thing, that last job you had, you got to grab some inspiration and some material from those kind of situations, right?
Sure. I mean, I've been sober almost 8 years now, so I've seen a lot of crazy shit, and working in a halfway house is no different. You meet people from all walks of life. Some are better than others as far as to deal with. You come to work sometimes and someone overdoses. You come to work sometimes and someone is doing well for themselves and they're finding their path. So, I mean, the recovery industry in general, I mean, we could talk about that forever. But there's a lot of facilities out there that are trying to help people. And then there's a lot of facilities out there that are trying to make money off the backs of sick people, and that's just the world we live in. So, when you work in the recovery environment, you got to ask yourself, like, why are you there? And for me, being someone who's sober, I was there to hopefully help someone if they needed help, but you can't help the person that doesn't want help. So sometimes people's families put them in halfway houses and rehabs, and they don't want to be there. There's no way you're going to connect to that person.
Yeah.
So you know what your boundaries are, and that's in general with everybody. a lot of people in the country have family members and stuff that are addicts or alcoholics, and they bang their heads against the wall because it's like, why won't this person get it? And I don't have the answer to that. But I do know for me, this alcoholic, I had to be completely done. I had lost almost everything in my life, and I had to be completely done before I was willing to change. And then luckily, there was somewhere for me to go to hang around with people and drink black coffee and get better. And 12-step recovery is not for everybody, but it's out there, and it's the route I took. I don't think it's the only way, but for me, being someone who's sober, my job is to just walk through my life really hard and help the next person that needs help. And I'm a very accessible dude, and besides the yuck yucks and the dick jokes, if someone's out there struggling, you can literally reach out. This is not me pushing my social media, but Instagram or Twitter at Yates Comedy. You can DM me. You can message me if you're struggling, because I will help. Because people helped me when I was coming up, and I didn't know what to do, and I felt like dying all the time, and I didn't know how to quit drinking or quit doing drugs. People helped me, so my deal with the universe was to help the next person. So that's kind of why I had that day job, but I mean, it was grueling work, and I'm happy to be just telling jokes right
No,
now.
no, for real. I just love that. I mean, it definitely, I understand more of you, and can understand the drive that you have to do what you do, because you came out of that and because you moved through that. What does 2020 look like for are you a goals guy? Do you have like some goals you want to meet and some points?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I don't make resolutions. I do have goals. I would love to get a late night set on a network. So submitting TV sets to Tonight Show or Conan or James Corden. That's a goal of mine. Is to accomplish a television set. My 2020 looks really good. I have tour dates all over the country. I'm very lucky right now. I'm touring with my buddy who took third place on America's Got Talent this past season. So I've been opening for him, and we're getting to do a lot of really cool venues all across the country. So there's that. I'm going to start working on my second album. I released my first album last year on Black Friday. It's called One Long Merch Pitch.
Okay.
And it's basically it's my debut album. It's 45 minutes of stand-up comedy, and then the last few minutes is me selling hot sauce to the crowd. It's a very on brand. So you can pick up One Long Merch Pitch on iTunes, Amazon Music. I self-produced it, self-released it. So if you want to pick that up or stream it, that could help.
Nice.
So working on album number 2, just continuing to work. A personal goal is just to become debt free. Just saving money and paying bills, and I would like to not owe anybody any money, because if I decide to quit, I can move to a cabin in the mountain and not owe anybody anything. So that's a financial goal of mine. And then just to be kind to myself and stay healthy and meditate more and exercise and just try to live to see another year.
What was this deal you boast on the website about, or not boast, but it's in your bio about being a part of a Guinness Book of World Record in comedy? What was that?
So there's a bunch of comedians down in Nashville. They're very funny. They hosted an event called the Broken Record Show, where we took part in the longest continuous running comedy show that ever happened. So there's a few comics down there in Nashville, DJ Buckley, Mary J. Berger, Chad Ryden. They all organized the Broken Record Show, and what it is, it's a 8-day long continuous stand-up comedy show. So from sun up to sundown, in 15-minute intervals, there's hundreds of comedians that take part in this festival, and they have a timer, and it's all Guinness legit. The rules are you could do 50. You have to do a 15-minute set, and you can only go up again every 4 hours. So you have 100 comedians hanging out, and there's audience and stuff too. But you got comedians from all over the country descending down on Nashville, Tennessee, to help break the Guinness Book of World Records. And I think they set it and then broke it again the following year. I wasn't there, but I think it ran 7 continuous days. So you're doing sets at 9 in the morning, 4 p.m., 7 a.m., 11 p.m.
Crazy.
And it's just a continuous. Yeah, and the cats, the Nashville comedians that organize it, it was just such a fun time, and you got to hang out and make a lot of friends, and because at 5 in the morning, sometimes there's like 10 comedians in the audience, and some of them are on mushrooms, and you're just doing a set, and everybody's just having a good time. During the day, there could be 100 people real in the audience. But as long as it's just continuously running, that's how they kept setting and breaking their own world record.
That's brilliant that there's a world record for like the longest comedy set. I love that. I love that the Guinness has got a world record for everything though. So
yeah,
it's a sweet deal. Hey, tell everybody where we can, man. This has been, hey, thank you so much for doing this. I know you're busy.
Yeah,
I know you're on the road. You got other stuff you could be doing, making hot sauce or whatever. But thanks for doing this. Oh, tell people where you're at just in the next couple of weeks, months, like I said, there's people all over. They can look. I know they can find you at yatescomedy.com. They can find you at Yates. The links down on the bottom of the screen on Instagram and Facebook and all your social medias. You're easy to find, but where are you locally?
Sure. So I live in Los Angeles now. So my next date's coming up. I'll be at the Brea Improv on the 29th. I'll be in Flappers in Burbank, California on February 5th. And then I'm back on tour again. We're doing a lot through Florida, Gainesville, Naples, Tampa. So you can find my whole calendar of dates on my Facebook fan page, Dave Yates, Yates. You can check me out on Instagram or Twitter at Yates Comedy, and you can order some hot sauce at hahahotsauce.com.
hahahotsauce.com. That's 3 HAs, right?
Nope, that's 2 HAs. Oh. So hahahotsauce.com.
Boom.
So HAHA hotsauce.com.
Boom. Easy enough. Hey, man, again, thank you so much for today and your time, bro.
I mean, man, I do appreciate you very much, man, and look forward to seeing you when I get back to Colorado.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, man. Well, you stay safe in your travels. We'll talk to you later.
Take care, homie. Peace.
All right. Peace. I love it, man. I absolutely love meeting people with stories that have overcome stuff. I hope today was encouraging to you. I didn't want to make him tell jokes. I want to know about Dave Yates. You can go find his comedy. He's hilarious. He's a funny guy. He's got great sets. But more than that, man, what a story of overcoming alcoholism in a world where it's consuming people day in and day out. What a story of just putting your head down and hustling to do what you love. What a story of encouragement for me of, hey, man, sometimes you got to work. Here I am sitting here talking about trying to do a podcast so I don't have to work. But this man worked for, 8 years, hustling in and out, trying to make it big on the comedy stage or trying to just do his craft. And that's just fun, man. It's so fun to hear that and encourage people in that. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's a little different than the crime cast and the crime podcast, but man, there are a lot of interesting people out there. Go find Dave Yates on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Go like his page. Tell him Dad with the Phone sent you. If you want to find me, you can find me at all the links below. Thanks again for joining. If you want to support Dad with the Phone, you guys know I'm not going to beg for money, but if you want to support Dad with the Phone, my PayPal is at the bottom of the list. Just 1 second. I'm almost done. Okay. And you can always PayPal directly at that link below. Thanks for joining Dad with a Phone. We got a lot of great shows coming up. Yes, we'll be covering cases. Yes, we're looking for a co-host. Yes, we got lots of stuff coming. Thanks for joining today. Say goodbye. Say, make sure to like my dad on TikTok.
Make sure to like my dad on TikTok,
Facebook,
YouTube,
and Twitter. See ya.
See ya.
Look over there and blow everyone a kiss. Boom. Done. We're out.